listening to Socialist Shelf Radio.
What's up, folks? So today is going to be a little different. So our next project is The Hobbit and all things Tolkien. We're going to be doing The Hobbit and then sort of intermittently, gracious, over the next little while be going over the various Lord of the Rings books. Haven't really decided if we're going to do them all in a blitz or whether we're going to like do one in like alternate weeks. We're going to figure that out. But we are doing a deep dive into Tolkien, who is one of my inspirations, is very important to me personally, and also just important to lots of genres, fantasy in general.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, I wanted to do a little more work on the deep dive, wanted to read some more, wanted to spend some more time. So we are pushing back our Hobbit review by about a week. But I still wanted to hop on because I wanted to, well, I'll say this. I do feel bad because Lenore did have a song prepared. Lenore, do you want to give us a preview of the song, or do we want to hold off? Are the people ready for this? What
I'll
do we need to know?
I'll throw out the first verse, I
Okay,
think.
hit us with it. Hit us with it.
Welcome to the shelf that is socialist. We serve hot takes with iron fists. Books good and bad, books cringe and rad. And so we read on down the list.
So
I
true.
there's a couple more verses. I came up with this in the shower this morning. Literal shower thought, y'all.
Fantastic. What what hot takes have we had? Now that I'm thinking about it,
I mean, they're all pretty hot, aren't they?
are they? I'm not sure. I'm like, now that I think about like, are the books we make fun of are I think pretty much universally reviled in the books that we
Yes.
like. I think my like closest thing to a hot take has been that I like thought Jurassic Park was like a 6 out of 10, but like even then that's like a pretty milk toast opinion, I think.
I mean, reading Leo Frankowski in this day and age, probably counts as a hot take in and of itself.
Just
Um,
acknowledging it.
exactly, because and I haven't been through his whole body of work, of course, but I can't think of any influence it's really had. It seems like a literary dead end to me. I don't think C.S. Lewis being a furry counts as a hot take. I think you can kind of infer.
I mean, we didn't make it up. I pulled it directly from his biography that I went over. So like yeah, I mean they didn't use the word furry, but we understood it. I suppose these days, Catcher in the Rye, the amount of hate it's gotten, us being like, wait a second, we're not
There's
standing for
some
this.
there's some minor discourse lately about Catcher in the Rye that I think is pretty unwarranted.
It's I mean, we said it all in that episode, and by we I mean Aisha for the most part really nailed it. So we need not expound on it. I think all was said and done. So yeah, hot takes here and there. Uttering the name um Jerry B. Jenkins after the year 2010, maybe. Acknowledging the existence of, the president is missing, that sort of
Well,
thing.
it's really more the grind that we acknowledge, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, what I did want to mention, speaking of books, speaking of all that, if you follow us on twitter.com, and by us, it's mostly like, I mean, like Lenore has Twitter, but like the Socialist Shelf Twitter is mostly me. I do not use it. I do abuse the Twitter account. I do use it very much as a personal account pretty often. But I figure, nobody's keeping score here. Um, Occasionally I almost post a take and then I'll be like, I wonder, maybe I shouldn't just post this take. Like I did do mounted defense of Dark Souls 2 the other day, and I have no idea what Lenore's opinion is on that. So maybe
That
not.
is the only Souls game that I have rage uninstalled.
Okay, so we do disagree on that. Fair enough. But I do specify in the bio that it is that I am running the account. So all hate towards me, I understand. Uh
But if you
Nevertheless,
wanna if you wanna throw a little hate towards at Teach Cat's theory, Jacob could use the rest.
that's true. That's true. Well, we've gotten 1,000, like 1,100 new followers over the last week, which is sick, or week and a half, which is cool. But all that to say is, I have mentioned on there that I Jacob have been working on a book. I know I don't just hate on books. I also work on them. So, exposing myself to criticism. Um, and I guess I wanted to mention it because as of this week, I am opening up querying for this book. I think I'm saying that right. Quarrying. I don't know.
Querying, I think, is right.
Querying. It makes me think of Quora. You know that website?
Quora. Oh God, I fucking hate Quora.
Oh my God, it's so okay. Yeah, the
Dude, can I
question and
can I
answer
can I
site.
tell you, like,
Please.
I've been sent stuff by family members that's like people on Quora talking about socialism, and it's
Oh,
like,
sick.
the only, you can say whatever you want, you can put up whatever credentials you want, like people whose credentials are just literally like student of history, and that's it, talking about how, like, I don't know, just the most insanely uninformed nonsense.
Uh, Let us quote, we were talking about it earlier off the pod. Let us quote Kurt Vonnegut on this. People say you're not allowed to be a socialist because of China, Stalin, and other things. Have you considered, semicolon, I don't care. As you said there, I do care, and I will talk to you about those things, but it is sometimes the energy you need to have with so-called students of history. Uh,
hmm
uh,
Anybody can be a student of history, but there's good students and bad students.
Brief diatribe on Quora. Did I ever tell you I was a minor Quora celebrity in high school?
Go on.
I mean, it's not very interesting. I like posted celebrity is maybe even two, but my account had like over 15 million hits, so it was pretty like significant given the size of Quora, especially at the time. It was much smaller. Quora was not yet just like a domain of bots, which it basically is now.
Dead internet
Um,
theory.
And no, it still sucked though. Like it was still a bad website. Like
hmm
there's no doubt. But it was like a website I could go on and like not I don't know. I felt like if I went on most social media, like at the time, I would have like people that I would knew and stuff would probably find it was my concern. Because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was like, I don't know, a queer high schooler, like figuring out my political and like whatever beliefs. I didn't need that coming out, going to a Christian school. So I was like, Quora, no, if fucking nobody's gonna find me on Quora. And I was right.
hmm
But I ended up making a couple posts about like um superheroes and who would win battles between them and writing like elaborate scenarios like fan fiction. And yeah, I ended up having like a number of like millions reads. I had like several thousand followers. People were like commissioning me to write fan fiction for a little while.
Oh yeah.
Um, it was fine. There was nothing toxic about it. It's just very funny that it was like a thing that happened in the past.
And the fan fiction that they were commissioning you to write, was it of the fight variety?
Well, it started that way. As it goes, it started of the fight variety, and then I had a number of people like, "You've written fights. What else can happen between these characters?" And for the right amount of money, plenty. Uh, I think Lenore can speak to that more so than me though.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Jacob knows full well a little bit of the nonsense that I've gotten into.
My
I
favorite is I was asked, "Can Captain America and Iron Man hook up?" And I'm like, "Okay, easy." And then the
Easy.
person said like, and but I was thinking, why do I need to like? There's obviously so much of this online. And the person said, "I don't want it to go past making out, and I want it to be 20 single space pages long."
Jesus.
And I did it,
That's what,
right?
10,000 words.
But but doing nothing but making out for 20 pages.
Oh God. Yeah. Like I
How? I don't know how I did it. I don't think I have it anywhere. I wish I did. The person was satisfied, but it's like at a certain point you got to go somewhere. You got to.
exactly. I remember somebody commissioning me for something like, it was like 6,000 words of this is Filth Guy. I've told you about Filth Guy. Like,
Yeah.
and I turned in my draft, and then the dude that I ghostwrite for came back to me with like, "Hey, can you add like 3,000 more words just like to this sex scene?" And I'm like, "Okay, like this, it's gonna be a lot of bloat, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
try not to be repetitive about this, but like, God, it's I'm just writing this the whole time, and I'm like, how does somebody maintain their interest, let's say, in,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If I knew, I suspect I would be into it.
I
Um,
guess so.
I suspect. I'm writing one right now that's like somebody wants to be just like 4,000 words of their character topped by their favorite character from this gotcha game based on Disney villains, and the character is based on the hyenas from Lion King.
Not, not a thought. Maybe C.S. Lewis would be interested in that. Shout out to our cold open on C.S. Lewis, but couldn't be me. But yeah, all that to say is I haven't just written on Core. I haven't just written at Captain America and Iron Man making out. Um, I haven't just written a brief, you know, stint where I was like, what would happen if Hulk and fucking Superman fought? I don't know. The answer is Superman would win because he also has super speed and equal strength. But that
Obviously.
nevertheless, he's just got the same powers, but also more. It's the answer to who would win between someone and Superman is Superman essentially every time. It's a
Yeah.
silly question.
Has the Hulk
Um,
ever spent a million years in the middle of the sun? You know?
Right, exactly. Like, come on now. But I have written something beyond that that is my own thing. And I am sending it out to people this as of this week, and it is called They Called Her Rebel. It is a novel that I've written, a fantasy novel on basically a fantasy novel on people power, socialist revolution in a fantasy setting, and like queer love. And I really have had a fun time writing it over the last couple of years. And it is a thing that's gone through changes. It was originally an 160,000 word draft. It is now a 81,000 word draft. A lot has been cut. I'm hoping to its benefit. If you're really interested in a lot of the obscure lore I put in there and then cut, like feel free to email me, but I think it was bloat on the draft. Um, got some advice from people that were like, yo, if someone's a lore head, they'll like go on the Wikipedia for it, or if they'll go on the wiki, like you don't necessarily need to stop your scene to explain how the gun is firing. You can just say the gun is firing and that it's a magic gun,
This is
you
what
know?
Tolkien had the appendices for, yeah.
Right. And Tolkien is we'll get into it. He's guilty sometimes of stopping during a meal while someone's eating and saying, "Is that the spoon of our blah 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 blah?" Like, and yeah, it happens, but he's really good at it, and I wasn't. So,
Is that the artifact that turned the dragon balloon long ago?
yeah, exactly. Um, so I am sending this out. It is the story of a woman named Ilaria Sek, who is a student and that is in a massive amount of debt from her college, from her father, who has medical debt, who ends up basically having to work that debt off and being put in a situation where she is like massively radicalized, and given the opportunity at a certain point, through an exposure to another remarkable woman, to kind of see under the surface of reality. She's able to see sort of the outline of souls, how people interact with each other through like different colors, and really kind of comes to understand like the dialectic, the way people are interacting with each other through a very artistic lens, or through this like lens of color and interaction. And it leads her sort of on a quest to take this fantasy world that is been very much commodified, very much under the boot of this like kind of increasingly fascistic government, we'll say, and realize the need for significant change. And I get to have a number of fun characters, some of which are just directly ripped from like tabletop RPGs that I've played and characters that I've like made up through the years. You have Jek, son of Jek, who is just this orc type guy who is just incredibly enthusiastic at all times. And this incredibly enthusiastic, semi-alcoholic ex-soldier orc who is just like all in for basically whatever Ilaria wants because he's just like, she's cool. I'm gonna follow her around. You have Sasha, who is a member of the nobility being very much what they are in like Western countries today, like England. Like imagine if like, I don't know, Prince Andrew decided, I mean, fuck Prince Andrew, but like decided I'm actually going to try and overthrow the crown,
Okay.
or something like that. She's like, I'm fucking done with this shit. got Cror, the self-proclaimed spell sword, sort of. He doesn't actually use a sword; he uses a shotgun, but a shotgun as his sort of casting implement rather than a sword or a staff. But
Oh,
he
fuck yeah. So like
he
instead of like rock salt rounds, it's like flaming rounds or whatever.
yeah, he spends a lot of
Lightning
time
rounds. Mm.
yeah, he spends time with his shotgun shells engraving runes on them so that he can fire spells off.
He's an artificer.
Yeah, essentially, though he's like technically a wizard, he's artificer core, and he's just this gruff bodyguard type character. Got a whole fun variety. Certain characters based on certain historical figures and different like that. You've got Louis the 14th showing up at one point as an elf ghost.
No
There's
shit.
there's a lot that's going on here. And I've got a villain that I just like straight up read a lot of Mussolini speeches ahead of. So he's like a Mussolini meets Jeff Bezos type guy.
Oh boy.
Anyway, without spoiling much, it's a lot of fun. It's magic, it's socialist, it's gay. And so if anybody out there is, I don't know, even tangentially connected to anyone in the publishing industry, or if you just want to read it, hit me up, the socialist shelf at gmail.com. I'm looking, it still is certainly going to need work. This new draft. The only eyes that have been on it have been me. There have been eyes on my previous draft, like I mentioned. But anyway, wanted to throw that out there. And since we don't have like a full book episode this week, I kind of wanted to like mention it. And this is going to be a thing that I might promote from time to time. And God willing, we see it published and then it can be discussed on some other podcast and they can rip it apart for its silliness, but that's okay because I do want people to get a chance to experience it because it's been, an important journey for me and hopefully some other people can find interest in it as well.
Absolutely. And we need that energy out there as well. I mean, we already have like magical fantasy libertarianism from people like Goodkind, Like we need
Yeah.
we need magical fantasy socialism out there.
The thing with Goodkind is like I would say we could read his books, but you have to get into like the third one to get into the fun libertarianism shit. So it's exhausting. But yeah, I will happily be the anti-Goodkind. Oh my God. Um um who's the other guy that I don't like? I forget. There's plenty of guys I
Brooks.
don't like. Yeah, Brooks. Yeah, Brooks. Oh my God. Yeah. Terry Brooks is sort of Shannara, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
what is the deal with Terry's in fantasy?
Sort of Shannara is not politically offensive. It's just Lord of the Rings. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Sword of the
Um,
Rings.
Sword of the Rings. I think that was like a rare thing where like I think Neil Gaiman weighed in on that one and he was like, this sucks. Like he's usually a pretty positive guy.
Is
He
it
was
that
just like,
thing of where like like Stephen King waded into Twilight discourse and said, "Hey, look, like Stephanie Meyer, astute businesswoman, can't write worth a damn."
yeah, it's just like a thing where it's just like you just stole this. Like you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
there's sometimes things aren't interesting. Like, I know the classic like good artists steal and like you can take from stuff, but like there's a difference in like, I don't know, George Lucas reading Dune and making a desert planet with his own weird worm thing and like just renaming characters and putting it out there.
Right.
Nevertheless, yeah, I'm hella excited about this and I hope at least some of you are interested. And like I said, hit me up. So at the socialist shelf, DM our Twitter. We've gotten enough hate DMs recently for the whole Biden stunt. Enough DMs accusing me of being on Putin's payroll. That's not true. It was President Xi who paid me to do it.
hmm
Um, yeah, President Diaz-Canal actually was the one who's behind it. So get your facts straight. Yeah, that's the main thing I've got. Lenore, any other thoughts on this like probably shortest episode we've ever put out?
For any writers listening, who want to do the whole who want to do the whole writing a book thing as well, let's Jacob's experience inform the editing process, right? You can, in fact, cut your initial draft was what, 160,000 words and it's down to 80K.
Literally cut in half, yes.
Yes, you can cut an entire novel from your novel and still have something that is well worth reading.
Hopefully, we'll see. Full disclosure, Lenore has not read the book, so we'll see.
That's true. That's true. I could be the very first hater. We don't know.
That's true. I've had several people like it. Friend of the show, Drew, the Dirt Mage himself did enjoy it. Friend of the show, Trent, did enjoy it. Omar Al-Akkad gave me some advice on it, actually. Also, friend of the show, successful author, as we know. He was the one who said, "Hey, take an axe to this book." Like, and I really appreciated him just being rawly honest with me.
100%.
And also just saying, hey, by the way, if you're a first-time author today, you are not publishing a book over 100,000 words. It's not happening. Like it's not, 10 years ago, even. Especially if you don't have like a book talk, which is apparently a thing.
Which I hope continues to be a thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dating at time this episode comes out, you might be listening to this and being like, TikTok isn't that ancient app that got banned that people use VPNs to access.
Which of course,
yeah.
we will of course be providing the APK for TikTok on future episodes.
Yeah, everyone who is on TikTok in the entire United States will, for some reason, be like, well, I have nothing to do, so I'm going to listen to the Socialist Shelf.
Exactly.
I don't know why, but there's going to be like 100 million listeners. It's going to be great.
Underground Socialist Shelf book talk.
None of those words are in the Bible, but it's okay.
Well, if the Bible is so cool, why isn't there the Bible too? Answer that.
Isn't that what the Book of Mormon is?
Oh no, that was described as Return of the Jedi to the
Well, the New
Old
Testament is Bible 2 then.
Yeah. So okay, Bible 2, Bible 3. I've heard some people describe the Book of Mormon as like fan fiction as well. What would Bible fan I mean,
Bible fan fiction is Left Behind.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yes, exactly. We've done a few fan fiction books on this show, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, if you're counting Left Behind, certainly My Immortal, I guess that's just two, but I don't know. Slaughterhouse 5 is World War II fan fiction.
That's true. That's true. Slaughterhouse 5 is World War II. President is Missing, of course, is Bill Clinton fan fiction.
Bill Clinton's self-insert into his own life as he remembers it, as the light is fading.
Hi, my name is William Jefferson Clinton III. I have blue eyes like limpid tears.
I think Ben Shapiro in True Allegiance is in his own way. I whatever the opposite of fan fiction is, like hater fiction for the United States, but like not in a cool way, like in a return to tradition. I don't know what tradition is. Type of stupid person way. Oh.
I was reading through, what was it? There was some real there's some like lore quibble from some character in The Hobbit that I couldn't help reading in Ben Shapiro's voice. I mean, I guess you can anything Tolkien says about the goblins, I can imagine Shapiro being like, now goblins are cruel, wicked, and bad-hearted. They make no beautiful things. They make many clever ones, but none of them are beautiful.
Yeah, he's Ben Shapiro. Yeah, Ben Shapiro reading The Hobbit sounds like a really good time, I think. I'm reminded of my friend. We were talking about, how they're kind of falling off, but like the AI presidents and like Ben Shapiro like gaming videos.
Oh yes, the magic ones. Yeah.
My friend said he had to stop watching those because he was getting invested in the characters, and then he was like,
Truly.
wait a second, these are real people and they're all monsters.
They are. I mean, there's that. There's the I do genuinely like what the President's Play Magic guy does with Kamala Harris now, how he makes her basically a Zoomer who's just constantly hitting her vape and playing Fortnite.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, I know he was into the Elden Ring ones, like the series of Souls ones, and he was like the dynamic between Trump and Biden, the will they, won't they?
Biden is like when they're playing horror games, Biden's always the one who knows like the Five Nights lore and whatnot.
Sick. I love it. I love it. When I saw Biden, he did sit me down and tell me about the bite of 87. So I don't know what the bite of 87 is still, because he said the bite of 87 can be described in one word. A mushroom. Phenomenal. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to this very short episode of the Socialist Shelf. If you were trying to keep up, feel free to read The Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings, because those will be coming to a podcast near you very, very soon. And if you're somebody out there who's like, what the heck? I want to be on the Lord of the Rings episode. Hit us up. I mean, I can't guarantee you it'll work out with the schedule or whatever, but like we've had people hit us up before and it's ended up being, turning into some great stuff in the past. And we have hit people up before, more of that than the opposite. So we are happy to pass it along.
These books
So
are not a 2-person job. They're a 3-person job, perhaps even a 4-person job. Who knows?
I mean, it's maybe a 9-person job, Fellowship of the Pod.
Aha. Well, then there has to be a breaking of the fellowship.
The breaking of the fellowship, which is I've heard described as like the DM just being like, fuck it, we can't organize times. We're gonna have 2 sessions a week. Y'all are going this way, y'all are going this way. God damn it. This guy killed his character off and now he wants it to come back to life and he wants it to be leveled up. And this DM being a pushover. He allows it. Well, folks, thank you very much. And as always, I don't know. We don't have a sign off. That makes I was like thinking I was going to come up with something. As always, keep shelving. That's not anything.
Read Vincent Bevins, especially if we burn.
Yes.
10 or 11 times until you learn. We must arise and organize, and to the workers this world return.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace out.